So the Carbon Diet Coach app versus MyFitnessPal. I get this question a lot. There's only two apps that I recommend for weight loss and tracking and all that. One of them is MyFitnessPal. It's tried and true. It's the old famous MyFitnessPal. I like a lot of things about it. And then there's this new one called Carbon Diet Coach. And I've tried all of them, new, Macro Factor, Macro Plus Plus. I mean, there's so many, RP Diet app. I mean, I've tried all of them. This is my job, this is what I do. These two are the two that I would generally recommend to people. Now, if you're pretty good at adjusting your macros and tracking and all that, MyFitnessPal is probably the best one for you. MyFitnessPal is basically just a tracking app. You put in, you create a free account. Don't get the paid version unless you really want to. But you put in your data, age, sex, weight, height, whatever, what's your goal weight and whatnot. It does some basic calculations. For the vast majority of people, those calculations work. I would definitely go into goals, under calories, and up your protein. If you do a protein, carb, and fat ratio of like 40-40-20, you're most likely fine for most people. So you definitely have to do that. You shouldn't let it keep your protein at 20, fat at 20, and carbs at 60%. That's about where it starts for most people, or like a 30-50-20. So definitely make sure you go in and adjust that. Up your calories to about 1 gram per pound of lean body mass. Your lean body mass, depending on how fat you are, what your body fat percentage is, just take a guess. For most women, you're looking at 80 to maybe 140, 160 grams of protein a day. For men, you're looking at about 120-ish, maybe up to 180, maybe 200, depending on how tall and muscular you are. But either way, just up it to about 40 for the protein. Now, that's how MyFitnessPal, another thing I really, really like about it is that it has a big database. Like, you could literally pick any food you can imagine, even ethnic foods like, basmati rice or chicken biryani or, butter chicken or magluba or, whatever. You could pick almost any food you can imagine and it's in there. And it may not be 100% accurate to what you actually made or what your mom made or what you bought at the, grocery store, the ethnic, Mexican or Indian or whatever grocery store, but it's probably close enough. With tracking, for most people's cases, unless you're like a bodybuilder getting ready for a show, for tracking, you want to be close enough. You don't have to be 100% perfect. You just want to be pretty close. We need to know you're eating about 1,800 calories a day, not 5,000. So for the vast majority of people, it works and it's fine. Some people argue, well, anybody can add to the database and anybody can do this. Well, sure. But that's part of the beauty of it. There's literally everything you can imagine in there. How many times have you scanned the barcode on something and it didn't show up in the app that you use? MyFitnessPal has a barcode scanner and it's super good. Now, the paid version lets you take pictures of your food, like some of the other apps. There's a few other apps that let you take pictures of your food and it kind of guesses how many calories it is based on the picture, which is fine too. And that's probably close enough for most people. Now, it does not make any adjustments. There's no features in it that make adjustments. You just track and you see your weight going down, then you stick with it. If your weight starts going up, you could lower your calories a little, but it makes no adjustments. You have to do it all manually. So if you're pretty good at adjusting your calories and macros, then MyFitnessPal is probably the best app for you. The other app that I really like is the one by Dr. Layne Norton. It's called Carbon Diet Coach. Now, it does everything that MyFitnessPal does. It uses a slightly different database. It uses the Fat Loss Secret database, unless they've changed it, but I believe that's what they used originally when it came out. And I've used it on and off a lot. It is a paid app. It's about $10 a month, or if you pay like annually, it's a little bit less. But this app is not just a tracking app. It functions as a tracking app. One thing I like about Carbon Diet Coach, the tracking when you enter a food is a little more robust and user-friendly than MyFitnessPal. Like if I'm putting in my breakfast and I put in, 1 slice of toast and 1 egg, when I put in the toast, it automatically adds it to the database and I can go ahead and put in the egg and the honey and the coffee and the whatever without having to go back in and out. In MyFitnessPal, if I put in the egg, it takes me back to the daily log. And then I got to press the plus button again and go add the toast. And then it takes you back out. And then you got to go back in again and add the honey. So it's a little bit more cumbersome on the MyFitnessPal side. But the Carbon Diet app lets you keep entering food until you're done with what you just put in. It also has a barcode scanner. You can scan the things that you want to put in too, and it's very accurate. I've almost never had to enter anything manually. If you don't want to track with Carbon, you can track with MyFitnessPal and then just input the daily final numbers into Carbon, which is also nice, because Carbon does have one feature that the others don't. The one thing the feature that Carbon has is about once a week you can check in with a coach, and the coach is the app. It's the AI, the artificial intelligence of the app. So let's say when you first registered, you weighed 220 pounds and you told it you want to weigh 180. You've been tracking for a week, you're still 220 pounds, or maybe you went up. You check in on Wednesday. If that's your day, you check in on Wednesday. It asks you a few questions to see if you're on your period, if you've been compliant with your macros, how well are you doing or not doing, that kind of stuff. And then it does some calculations, and the AI tells you, okay, look, you're at 220 pounds, you're still 220 pounds, it's been about a week or two or whatever it is. So we're gonna drop your calories a little bit, or if you go up, it drops your calories, or if you go down too fast, it drops your calories. It asks you about how much weight you want to lose per week, and it has some suggestions and recommendations that are optimal. The other thing I like about Carbon is that it already has the protein high. Like if you're a 200-pound person, it already, depending on what you put in as your goals, will already select a protein goal that's pretty good. You rarely have to adjust it. You can if you want to, but you rarely have to. The other thing I like about Carbon is if you want to eat slightly more on the weekends, like let's say on the weekends, you want to, let's say it's telling you to eat 1,800 a day to lose weight. On the weekends, you want to eat 2,300. You can up the 2 weekends and then lower the rest of the week so that it still averages out to about 1,800 a day, which is really, really cool. Not that many apps let you do that. The other thing that's really nice is that you can select whatever kind of diet you want. It's diet agnostic. You could do a balanced diet, which is what I do. That's what I recommend. It's like a Mediterranean style kind of balanced diet where it's, carbs, fats, and proteins are Mediterranean. The fats are a little lower, the carbs are not crazy high or crazy low, and then the protein is enough for you to build muscle or not lose muscle if you're trying to lose weight. You could pick a low carb diet. You could pick a ketogenic low carb diet. You could pick a few other options. You just pick what you like. I mean, it does a really, really, really good job. The other thing I like about the Carbon Diet app is that you can tell it that you actually want to gain weight. You can tell it, look, I'm in a bulking phase. I want to grow muscle. I want to build. I want to do this. And it'll increase your calories and let you actually gain weight. The other thing I like about it is that it kind of calculates your metabolism for you. If for about a week you've been eating 2,000 calories a day, or that's like your average, and you're staying the same, it calculates that as your maintenance, and it knows that's your maintenance. So if you want to start losing, if you switch your goal to start losing, it'll drop it. If you switch your goal to start bulking, it'll increase it. Now you may be trying to lose weight and you're not, and you are losing weight, but depending on the rate of loss, it still can calculate your maintenance. So let's say for about 12 weeks you've been losing weight. It knows your metabolism based on how much weight you're losing, based on how much food you're eating, and then you tell it, okay, I'm done losing weight, I'm done with this cutting phase, I want to maintain. It knows your maintenance now because it's been watching what happens to your weight depending on how much you eat. And one of the only ways we can affect our metabolism really is by increasing or decreasing how much we eat. So it knows your metabolism based on what you've been telling it, which is super cool. It can figure out your new lower maintenance since you've lost weight. It can figure out how much now you need to gain weight if you wanted to gain weight, all that kind of stuff. It's super cool. Obviously it's not free. That's the only thing. It's about $10 a month, which still is a steal if you ask me. I mean, you literally have one of the world's greatest team of weight loss coaches, their artificial intelligence and their algorithms helping you. And they have a super amazing Facebook group that helps you answer questions. They're in there all the time answering them and helping you set things up, when to reset it, when to not reset it, those kind of things. So I really, really like the app. The graphics are pretty cool when you see the circles of your calories, protein, fat, and carbs. It does a really, really good job there. I don't have anything bad to say about it. The only thing is sometimes with the search feature, when you're searching for a certain food, if you don't type it in the exact order, Like let's say you were looking for Nabisco saltine crackers, whole wheat. If you type in like Nabisco saltine crackers whole wheat, it may not find it because you didn't type in whole wheat saltine crackers Nabisco. Like the order of the wording sometimes, if it's out of order, it doesn't work. I know that was an issue in the beginning. I've been using it again recently, and it seems like that's not an issue anymore. Maybe they changed the way you can query the database. I mean, I know you can do that because I worked with databases, but it seems like that hasn't been as much of an issue as it was initially in the beginning for me, at least. There were certain things I was used to typing in a certain way, like Dave's Killer Bread 21 whole grain seeds, whatever, thin sliced. If you didn't type it in exactly as that, then it would take a while to find. Now, the other thing that I really like about both of them, actually, things that you use frequently are at the top of the list. So if I go to put in a food for breakfast, for example, my eggs and my bread and my toast and whatever that I normally eat for breakfast is like right there. I can just go boom, 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 and it's like put in. On MyFitnessPal, you have to add it. It takes you out, go back in, add the next one, go back in, add the next one. So it's a little more cumbersome. But either way, fantastic apps, both of them. MyFitnessPal is great for beginners. If you're like pretty obese and you just want to lose weight, MyFitnessPal is great. Just increase your protein to at least 40%. Now, if you're like 300 pounds, then no, don't increase your protein to more than about 180, maybe 200 grams a day. The Carbon Diet app does all of that for you. The other thing I like about the Carbon Diet app is it does adjust for when you're on your period. A lot of women bloat or retain water and fluid and their hormones are all off. So it asks you if you were on your period at the time. When you check in with the coach, it asks you, were you on your period this week? If you were, it makes some adjustments and may even discount that whole week totally, just because it's going to probably be off, especially if you end up gaining weight all the other weeks you've lost weight. So great apps, both of them. I hope you enjoyed this. Grab some of my stuff below and enjoy the rest of your day.